Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Shadowlands for what possibly could be the last time. Um, so some things have happened that I want to address and talk about. Plus, I also want to give a shout out because just to let you guys know, I was able to pull off a couple of big accomplishments recently before this expansion kind of comes to an end. So, just to kind of show you guys, for one thing, just to let you see the progress I've been making, I am now up to 277 item level. Basically, now the weakest thing I've got here is my weapon. Um, I was hoping for an upgrade. It's possible I could still, because I could get it from the vault at the next reset. Who knows? But that could be the last one I do for this expansion. We'll see. I may try and take advantage of, say, keys to farm certain things, like the Mount and Necrotic Wake, for example. And I'm mentioning this because, well, let me just go ahead and show you guys a couple of the big things here. I got my Keystone Master for this season. And just to show it off, I've got the mount. Let me get up here so you can get a better look at him. There you go. Some have called this the Kool-Aid mount, or the Kool-Aid Man mount. I can kind of see where they're going with that. I actually kind of like the look of this one a little better than the previous one. Now, I did that earlier in the day, and then I was like, okay, let me see, because of a couple things. One, my guild was able to get AOTC, and I wasn't able to be there because of work. The other thing is that we're kind of coming to a break wrap-up type of point in our guild schedule for raiding, where we may not be doing so for the rest of the expansion. I'm not entirely sure. However, I just got some sad news that our raid leader sadly has come down with COVID. So we're all hoping he's going to be okay. But obviously that means that the guild is probably going to be taking a break from raiding. Plus, with the work schedule being, working at the movie theater in the summer, as you guys can probably imagine, working at the movie theater in the summer is pretty busy. By the way, I just came back from seeing Elvis. Oh my gosh, go see that. Right now, I would say the two movies you should go see right now are Top Gun Maverick and Elvis. Maybe Jurassic World, that depends. Some people don't like it, some people have enjoyed it. But anyways, because of that, I was like, okay, maybe I can actually try and join a pug group and see if I can get my AOTC with a random group, since I may not be able to get with my guild. And lo and behold, I got my ahead of the curve. So the group I found in the group finder was by a guild called Do Something. I forget what server they're on, but in the description they said they were doing progression and they were looking for a Death Knight to help out. Probably to help out with a couple of things that in that fight I would say Death Knights are very helpful with. I will also go ahead and hop on the other mount that you get for getting the AOTC, which is, of course, this one right here, which looks like Calandris, the crab. And it's got its own flying version. Yeah, it flies as well. So anyways, a couple of the things that Death Knights can help out in that fight is if somebody gets mind controlled in phase 2, they can be able to grip them away from the edge. The other is the ads that come up during the third phase. From what I can tell, those are very nice parts to have a Death Knight handy to help out, especially a Necro DK. You can be able to pull that off. So, it was one pull. And it wasn't entirely clean. Somebody died early on, and then I died late in the second. Actually, no, it was like kind of early in the third phase because I had a bad lag at the moment. Because unfortunately, some of the fights are very demanding on our machines in this expansion, and especially in this raid. The Anduin fight in particular, I had to turn down my graphics settings down to like 1 just to avoid having tons of lag during that fight. And unfortunately, the same thing is with that jailer fight. So I had lag during the third phase, and I was moving at the time I had lag, and I actually accidentally fell into one of those holes on the platform you fight the jailer on, so I died. But they handled themselves well for the rest of that pull, and he went down. One pull, and he went down. So they got their AOTC for their guild, and I was able to be part of that. So big shout out and thank you. Thank you to the guild. Do something. It meant a lot that you guys were willing to take a shot on me when you saw me queue up for your group. Glad I was able to contribute how I could to help you get your AOTC. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to get mine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, because of these things, let's just say that I'm at a point now where, I mean, while there is going to be a 4th season that they have been advertising that they are wanting to mix it up and let us be able to actually do all 3 raids again for different rewards and rebalance them so that we can be able to, say, do Nathria, but even with current gear and such, I don't know. And honestly, it's not really something that I'm super hyped or excited about. It's honestly at a point now where, now that I've gotten both this KSM and my AOTC, I just feel like I'm kind of done with this expansion. Like, there are some things I can finish off. You can see here that I need to finish off the Lore Master achievements here. I just got to go do those side quests that are in Bastion and Ardenweald, and I'll be done with that. And it would be nice to be able to finish off, like, this skip quest here, which is I just need to kill Kel'Thuzad on Heroic one more time, and I'll have that unlocked. The other ones, whatever. But I'm essentially, I mean, there are a couple of other reps that I could finish off. I wasn't too great when it came to doing my reps in this expansion. You can see I'm almost exalted with Death's Advance. And here's the thing. If you look at my reputation stuff here, I am 1 exalted rep away from getting 40 and getting the title The Exalted. So maybe I could get the Death's Advance contract and see if maybe I can take advantage of this, but I don't know. I would have to go back and do this Shaping Fate quest here because this is supposed to give you a decent amount of rep with the Death's Advance faction, but it's not super important, honestly. Not a huge deal, honestly, but whatever. It's something I'm going to consider, but anyways. So in regards to that, let's also now talk about something else. Because while I'm also talking about the conclusion of the Shadowlands, there's something else we got to talk about. And that's this right here. So if you don't know, this is... Let me go ahead and show up the really cool special for this. This is the mount you get for pre-ordering Dragonflight, or rather specifically the Heroic Edition. I went ahead and grabbed the Epic Edition. If you want to see the proof, I have these right here. The special wings that you get as transmog pieces for getting the Epic Edition, along with this headpiece right here, the Diadem of the Spellkeeper. Probably not going to have it on this character. Probably going to put that on my Evoker when the expansion comes out. Or maybe, I don't know, some other spellcaster. Maybe, that could probably be nice on a mage, like an arcane mage. Maybe my Nightborn. Who knows? I'll think about it. But, yeah. As far as, the thing is, I believe there was another toy I was supposed to get with this, but I don't think I remember what it even was. What it was even called. There was supposed to be like some other like Hearthstone thing that you come, or that you get alongside with pre-ordering it, but I don't even remember what it was called, honestly. And I don't really see it, but there's obviously a lot of toys here that I don't have. Never been a... Oh, here it is. The Time Walker's Hearthstone. Hold on, let me go ahead and see if I can open this. There we go. So let's go ahead and see what this is like. I've been using the one that I got from doing the second level of the Jailer's Gauntlet. Let's see what this one is like. Uh-huh. So that's it. So that's probably... Okay, so I can see what it is. It's like how you're part of the Bronze Dragonflight and basically using the power of the Bronze Dragonflight to, do time walking, just like the Bronze Dragons do. Okay, I see what that's doing. You can definitely tell that they are definitely pushing forward this expansion. In fact, that's something that I want to bring up that I'm actually concerned about on a couple of different things. I will say, though, this mount does look pretty cool. This actually looks better than the green dragon mount that you can get. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, let me go ahead and show you. No, it's not the green Pro Drake. I haven't done that. I haven't gotten that one either from Nazmir. There's supposed to be another green dragon mount, and it's via an achievement. Let me go ahead and find it. Here it is. It's called the Emerald Drake. So, in order to get this mount, you need to collect these specific mounts, and there's a few that I'm missing. But just compare, because this is supposed to be considered like the green dragon mount that you can get here for the Emerald Dragonflight. The thing is, if you look at these two, in my opinion, there's really no comparison. This one looks much better, in my opinion. Just look at this thing. Even look at the feet. It looks like it's made out of tree bark. Like, this is a pretty cool looking mount, and it's got a pretty cool looking special. And honestly, it's like, look, I've got this mount, so maybe I don't necessarily have to work to go get this, even though there's a part of me that does want to eventually get it, but we'll see. I don't have that because I've never really taken advantage of the recruiter friend thing because I don't even know who to recruit for that. Have not taken the time to get the Goat Fire. Anyways, besides that point, it is being perceived, based on what we're seeing about the pre-order stuff, that Dragonflight may actually come out this year. Like, possibly in the November, December range. That concerns me. That concerns me that they are trying to rush this out as fast as possible because they apparently want to just get Shadowlands over with and move on to Dragonflight, to the next part, which I do find concerning. I want to compare it to the situation that happened at the end of Warlords, where they were basically like, okay, Warlords was a mess and a mistake, let's move on. Let's just move on and get to Legion. Let's just move on. Here's one of the differences, though. They took a long time, and there was a long content drought at the end of Warlords till the beginning of Legion. Like, it was a long period of time where there was just kind of like nothing, and we just had the end of Warlords to deal with until Legion eventually came out. Whereas here, it feels like we are... Now, the difference was that Legion had so much in there that they just needed more time to actually finish it and get it done. Here, I really don't know if Dragonflight is going to have that kind of content, and it just feels more like they're just trying to get it out to us as fast as possible, regardless of if it's ready or in good enough condition, because they just want to get this over with. Like, they just want to get Shadowlands past them and forget about it and just move on to the next thing because of how badly it's been received. Now, I am one of those who's never disliked or hated any era of WoW, even vanilla, that era, which, I would never have liked back, even back then. It wouldn't have been my thing. And if you think, oh, that's because you didn't play, trust me, I know people who did play, and they are like, I would never want to go back to that era. I literally know people who actually have said this. So, it's not me being a vanilla hater, it's just me being honest about that it's an era, and I tried Classic, and it's not for me. It's not something I enjoyed. But even that, I'm just like, it's still a relevant part of the game, and I can still see why the appeal was there. I don't necessarily think it's bad. It has its good stuff, its good parts to it. And that's the thing. I just have this tendency to want to see the good of every era of WoW, from vanilla all the way to Shadowlands. I think there is good in every single era. I don't agree with these people that love to declare every era of WoW is bad. You know, there are people I've heard that have said that BC and Wrath ruined the game because of one thing they didn't like, and therefore they declared it horrible and that it ruined the game forever. Yes, people who they associate the LFG with, and LFD with Wrath, and therefore they said Wrath ruined the game forever, it was horrible. This is not stuff I'm making up. This is stuff that people were saying back then. I've looked into it. I've also been told this from people who did experience it back then, who actually were in that time period and actually can be like, yo, no, yeah, I can tell you that's exactly what people were saying back then. So even with that, I still look at eras like, you know, BC, Kata, Warlords, BFA, Shadowlands. I can look at that and be like, well, I liked that, or I think that was good. Like, that's just my tendency. Like, people may, have been saying that Shadowlands was worse than Warlords and worse than BFA. And I'm not sure I really agree, honestly. Like, was this a rough expansion in terms of what it did and its features and such? Sure, but are there moments from this expansion I'm going to take away and think of with, positivity and, like, look back and go, man, that was great, or I really liked that? Yes, there are. I remember when I got emotional when we had that big finale in the storyline in Ardenweald with Ysera. That's one of those moments I'm never going to forget. I liked the story and questing during the initial leveling up experience with the big finale with Denathrius and Venthyr in Revendreth, and then we got to choose our Covenant and those different campaigns and such. I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed the story and the raids and such. The different zones in each patch that had different storylines going on. I thought it was interesting. I liked it. It's obviously not going to be for everybody, and that's just the reality, and, there's almost no way to kind of get around that and such. But that's just kind of how it's always been going back to vanilla. It's been that way ever since this game has been out, and I think it's going to be that way basically until this game is actually done. Until the day that the servers go offline and it's no longer supported. And who knows when that's going to be, but it's going to happen someday eventually. It happened for other huge games and MMOs out there, and it's going to happen to WoW eventually someday. There's even talk that other MMOs may get the plug pulled on them if they continue to not get supported. So, we'll see. Obviously, I'm planning on playing Dragonflight because there are things about it that interest me. I want to know about what's going on there and the story and what's going on with the dragons. I want to play the Evoker and see how that class plays, and if there's anything unique in the story specifically for the Evokers, like how there was stuff for the Death Knights in Wrath and there was stuff for the Demon Hunters in Legion. I want to see how that's going to be. There was even stuff for the monks, or rather for the monks, but also the Pandarans in Mists of Pandaria. So, we'll see. This may be one of the last times that you see my DK, because I'm basically reaching the point where it's like, okay, my Death Knight was fun, for the, to main for an expansion. That was fun. But I think it's time to move on to another class that I honestly just have more fun playing. Because there are times where the DK can be strong and fun, but there are also times where I'm just like, geez Louise, there's a reason we joke that the Death Knight is a wheelchair. That it's just so slow, that there are times where I'm just like having to just, just heave it, behind my teammates who are just more mobile and have more mobile abilities than I do, and I'm just having to just kind of like chug behind to the point where a priest will literally use their pull on me because I'm just lagging behind the team because I'm just so slow. And that's why when we were doing enchantments, everybody was saying if you're going to do an enchantment as a DK, put the one that increases your speed, which is what I did here. You can see the enchanted plus 20 stamina and minor speed increase because Death Knight is so slow, which is why I've been missing my Demon Hunter. And when I play my Demon Hunter, and I enjoy the speed and mobility so much. It's just, I've never not enjoyed playing the Demon Hunter. Like, it was a little weak in the first patch, in first tier of this expansion, where it wasn't really considered all that strong, where I was actually kind of struggling when we were raiding in Nathria with my Alliance Guild, and my Demon Hunter was just not doing what other classes were doing. Whereas now, it's actually, it's gotten pretty, strong at this point in the patch, where I would say, oh yeah, Demon Hunter's in a good spot. And I'm hoping that's going to be the case. But also, if we're looking at how it starts out in the expansion with the leveling in the zones and doing the questing and such, Demon Hunter just allows you to do some other stuff that other classes can't, like being able to double jump and glide, so you don't have to deal with falling damage when we can't fly early on, even though we're going to have that dragon flying riding feature, which we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it feels like it's really now kind of coming to a point where the fact that they are apparently already pushing forward Dragonflight, even my launcher changed after I did the pre-order. It changed from Shadowlands to Dragonflight, so it just feels as if it's coming sooner rather than later, but I don't know if that's a good thing. Now, for one thing, this is obviously not great for the developers, because this means they're going to have to do crunch, and it's going to be during the holidays, which, considering the last couple of years with the pandemic and them possibly not being able to actually, enjoy and celebrate the holidays with their families and spend time with their families, that's got to be awful for those developers, especially after all the stuff that's been going on. Let them have, the holidays off, spend time with their families, enjoy them, then come back and finish up working on Dragonflight, polish it up before release it. Would that be so bad? I know they're trying to move on and get to the next expansion, put Shadowlands behind them, but I've also heard people say that they criticize BFA and Shadowlands for being released too early. Do we really want to hear the same thing for the third expansion in a row? That it was released too early? Give the developers time off during the holidays, and then have them come back and finish up working on Dragonflight, polish it up, then release it. People will have more time to play it anyway early on next year than they will during the holidays at the end of this year. The holidays is not a time to sit down and play World of Warcraft for the new expansion launch. It's a busy time. People are traveling, doing other things, celebrating the holidays. Release it in January, because nothing happens in January. People will gladly go ahead and take time to play WoW during January, because nothing's happening in January, and people will probably have some time off and such. Just saying. You may take advantage of a time period where nothing else is happening, so people will, go ahead and turn their attention to WoW and a new expansion that's launched. Just saying. That's how I see it. Some people will probably get time off from that month. I know I probably will, because things slow down in certain places of business because of January. Because people are just kind of like, after the holidays and just relaxing and not doing anything. But that's just my take on it. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if Dragonflight is in good condition when it launches, or if it's a mess that perhaps should have not been released so early. We'll wait and see, I guess. So, as I wrap this up, and it's possible this will be the final part of this playthrough. It's also possible I may find something else to bring up. I don't know. But I'm just at a point now where I'm just going to probably consider just taking a break from WoW until Dragonflight and focus on other things, especially for this channel, such as continuing Dragon Age 2, going back to Star Wars The Old Republic. I'm also looking into a couple of other playthroughs. I'm going to be wrapping up Diablo 2 Resurrected and looking to start my alternate Diablo 3 playthrough. I'm also looking into a playthrough for Mass Effect Andromeda and starting that. Just kind of still working on it and testing it to see how it's going to go. There's a number of things that I can probably just kind of work on and focus on until Dragonflight comes out while taking a break from WoW. Now that I've been able to accomplish two of the last big goals I wanted to do before this, which was my KSM and AOTC. So, anyways, if you've been watching this whole Shadowlands playthrough up for my Death Knight, I appreciate it. I hope that it was decent and enjoyable for you to watch. If not, I can understand. It's kind of been kind of a development and growth kind of process alongside with me as well. So I can also understand if maybe this wasn't one of your favorite expansions to watch through, but I hope I was able to provide one of the more unique playthroughs of this expansion that you're going to find on YouTube. I'm not sure how many others will do a playthrough of an expansion of World of Warcraft in the way that I do here on my channel. We'll see. And how it get, how those of you who watch receive it. If you want to let me know, feel free to chime in the comment section. And if this does, in fact, end up being the final part here in the Shadowlands, then I guess I will see you guys in the Dragon Isles, and I will see you next time.